Hey gang, I thought it would be good to go back over just some fundamentals about the music staff, the symbols, and reading notes on the staff. It never hurts to go back over the basics. So first of all, let's remember something. We have our first symbol is our treble clef. The lower symbol here is the bass clef. Together, they are referred to as the grand staff. And that encompasses the space for all the notes for all musical instruments and the human voice. Now, because I'm here on my whiteboard at school, you can't see the possibility that there would be notes above the treble clef. But in fact, there are notes. Instruments like flutes, clarinets will play, and some voices can sing notes above the staff. Here in the bass clef, there are notes that would actually go below, okay? We know that the piano encompasses 88 notes. It's the instrument with the greatest range. So obviously I could represent 88 notes. I'll get to how we're going to do that in a few moments. So we have our grand staff, treble clef, and bass clef. And of course, for those of you who might remember from elementary school, the treble clef circles around this second line. The treble clef is also called the G clef. And it just so happens that that line symbolizes the pitch, the note G. And the first line, E, third line B, fourth line D, and top line F. E, G, B, D, F. And we have a lot of interesting sayings that we use. Some people from elementary school remember, every good boy does fine. Every good boy deserves fudge. Empty garbage before dad freaks. Elephants get bruises doing flips. That's my personal favorite. So, E, G, B, D, F. Now, each of the spaces has a pitch name as well. F, A, C, and E. Just by random chance, that happens to spell the word face, but I don't want you to think that there are secret messages in the music staff. Sorry, no such thing. It just happens that those spell F-A-C-E. Right? Now the bass clef has a different set, okay? This is referred to as the F clef, the bass clef, and that's because this little dot right here coincides with the note F, okay? Now I'm going to draw it out a little bit further here, but G, B, D, F, and A are the lines of the bass clef, and A, C, E, and G are the spaces. Now most of the music that we sing and get involved with here at the middle school is written in the treble clef for our voices. However, as you get older, tenors and basses would sing music written in the bass clef. And some of our instruments in our band, like the trombone and the tuba, do in fact use the bass clef. So does bass clarinet. So their music is written down here because it's pitched lower. Higher instruments tend to use the treble, lower instruments tend to use the bass clef. Okay? Now, with that in mind, we're going to say, wait a minute, Mr. Siegel. This guy ends on A, and this one starts on E. So what about the notes between A and E? And that's where something called ledger lines come in between, okay? You may recall that we have in here good old middle C, okay? That's middle C. Well, slightly above that is a note that hangs out right below the treble clef, known as D. And below it, sitting on top of the bass clef, is B. So, if we follow our notes up, okay, this would be A, top line of bass clef, B, C, D, E. So these ledger lines in between join the two staffs. Furthermore, I was talking about those really low notes and really high notes. I could go below the bass clef or above the treble clef using additional ledger lines. I could write notes really, really, really low, way below the bass clef, or way high above the treble clef. You get the idea. So music tone notation on the grand staff, simple functional concepts. We generally use the treble clef more than the bass clef. That's because of the type of music that we are dealing with here at the middle school level. Again, in high school choir, the sopranos and altos will sing in the treble clef. The tenors and basses will sing generally music that's written in the bass clef.